Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of 90 Minutes with the Sutton Broadbent Lounge. Tonight, we are joined by one of the standout performers of the opening months of Swindon Town's 2022-23 campaign, a man that has cemented his place at left-back since his loan arrival from Burton Albion took place in August. Bringing a ferocious yet calming influence to the STFC defensive line, this man has consistently impressed down the left flank, both in attack and in defence. From pinpoint whipped-in deliveries to thunderous challenges, he can do it all. Wise men tell us to never fall in love with lone players. Well, I think we might be all failing at that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct privilege to present to you Mr. Frazer Blake-Tracy. How are you, Frazer?
Oh, what's an introduction?
Oh, mate, I'll try. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, lad?
Yeah, not bad, pal, not bad. Buzzing to have you on, Frazer. We've got loads of questions to get through, mate. You're a popular boy.
And I look forward to answering all the questions you got for me.
Happy days. Before we jump in, we'll introduce you to our panel that I've got with me tonight. We'll start off with Ellis, our resident champion. How's it going, Ellis?
Good evening, people. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this will be a good one, won't it?
Yeah.
We've got Nick Judd. Juddy, how's it going, mate?
I'm very well. How are you guys, all right?
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Good. Yeah, me too.
We've got Mike Yavuz. Mike, how's it going?
I'm very well, thanks. Buzzing to be chatting to Fraser and be on land to you guys.
Happy days. We've also got the heir to the Hammer Hand fortune, Archer. How's it going, mate?
Hello. Lovely to be back on again. I'm surprised you let me back on, to be fair, but here I am. So
I've only let you back on, mate, because you told me your beer funds have gone down.
Yeah. Very kind.
Happy days. Well, we'll jump straight into it. Now, Frazer, we've labelled tonight's show as your second debut. You might remember after the home game against Newport, we grabbed you for a post-match interview. Unfortunately, we experienced some technical difficulties, and it never saw the light of day. We kind of blame one of our panelists tonight for that.
No, mate. No, you don't.
He knows who he is.
No, you don't.
Well, is that full blame or is that partial blame? Whose fault is it?
No, it is.
Well,
it's definitely partial blame. We cannot narrow it down to what the issue was. It could have been technical. It could have been me. But anyway, yeah.
It was my phone, to be fair. I'll take the blame on that one. It was my phone. But
50-50 then.
Exactly. We'll all share the blame.
I blame Joe.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll take it then.
Mate.
All right. It's not a blame game, people. Come on. Anyway, let's jump into some questions, shall we? So we've got the first one from Casey on Twitter. It's quite a simple question to jump into. We had a bit of a controversial answer from Tom Clayton last week, which was amazing. She's just asking, what team did you support growing up?
Oh, I'm the same as Clates.
Are you?
Oh, actually, did he say Manchester United?
He did.
Oh no, I'm definitely not what Clates said. I'm a Liverpool fan. So yeah, ever since I've grown up, my family have just always been Liverpool, and yeah, I've just always associated myself with them.
Well, we're not all perfect.
Yeah.
But...
No, not all perfect. Why? Who do the boys support then?
Arch, what you got up next, mate?
Right, yeah, sweet. So, next up, again from Casey, but some players seem to. But do you have any pre-match superstitions? So, I don't know, a certain pair of underwear, or is there anything before a match that you always do?
I'm not really a superstitious one. What I am though is I like to try and get at least 9 to 10 hours sleep before a game. So if we're in a hotel, like away from home, I'll miss out on breakfast, and then my pre-match will be like 2 meals. Whereas if I'm at home in Swindon here, I won't wake up and have breakfast. I'll just eat at lunchtime, but I'll eat quite a lot at lunch. But other than that,
Right.
I'm not really superstitious or anything.
Interesting.
How does that work on a?
Oh, sorry, Nick. Go on, mate.
I was going to say, how does that work on away games when you're away with the other teammates? Then, Fraser, does everyone kind of let you have your sleep, or I would have thought that there'd be people like waking each other up, keeping each other up, that sort of thing.
So when you're on away games, you usually share a room with one of the other boys. My roomie's Sol Bryn, and he's an early riser, so he'll just wake up and he'll go down for breakfast and leave me sleeping. And then the first thing we have to report. Breakfast is optional, so it's up to you if you want to have it or not. I don't have it. I sleep in, and then we have like pre-match about 11:30. If it's a 3:00 kickoff, and then I'll wake up a bit later and then just have a few meals before then. But no real superstitions.
That's an epic eating sleeping combo.
Yeah, I need my sleep, lad. I need my sleep before a game.
Nick, have you got the next question, mate?
I have, yeah. Just relating to sort of the sort of early days in your career, Fraser, really, because obviously it looks like you sort of started quite late in sort of professional terms.
Yeah.
Did you have any sort of youth team experience at a pro club, or was it sort of just sort of non-league route in?
Because I'm Norwich based, that's where I'm originally from. I was in between Norwich and Ipswich as a youngster, but I always got told I was too small.
Yeah.
So then it got to about 15 or 16, and I kind of got sick of like getting told I was being too small. So I joined like one of the best like development centres in Norwich, and then it kind of went from there. I kind of got to about 16, 17, and someone offered me a little bit of money to play men's football, and then ever since then it just went higher and higher. And now playing professional. I think I turned professional when I was about 22 or 3 at Peterborough. But I came up through the non-league way, and I wouldn't change it.
There seems to be a few more of these like sort of satellite sort of academy sort of alternative routes in, aren't there now?
Yeah, for sure. That's like some people fall through like the net sort of thing out of academies, and like you say, there's only a certain amount of positions for boys in academies, and there's a lot of talented young boys, so people miss out, and it's whether they've got like the motivation to like kind of go again. Do you know what I mean? After getting knocked back. So non-league, I'd always advise it to young boys, because that's kind of where you start to learn like men's football and like responsibilities. So no, I definitely advise that route as well.
I hope you showed any scouts at Norwich or Ipswich your like headed duels win ratio, because you're basically 100%. For a lad that's too small, you do well in the air.
Yeah, I back myself. For sure, and I'd like to think I got a good leap, but most of it's about timing. And if you kind of if the ball's anywhere in the air and I'm in the vicinity, I'd back myself to go win it.
So would I, mate. So would I.
I mean, just a quick one. Just when Nick said about the development academies, I'm pretty sure Mo Darbre came through Valencia Academy. It's just kind of another one to kind of add just onto that. It really has become more of a thing.
You think Ellis as well? Ellis came through an academy, didn't he? I can't remember what they're called, but he was picked up from some kind of sort of independent academy when Scott Lindsay was in charge of the 18s. So mate, it's definitely a good thing that's around. Think about how many players drop through the net. There's
a couple of documentaries around at the moment. I think there's one on Sky and another one on, I don't know, Amazon or Netflix or whatever. But there seems to be a few of these academies, and they basically sort of like, I think some of them sort of specifically focus on like catchments around London and sort of cages and stuff. But there's definitely a lot of players that seem to be slipping through the nets when it comes to the academies and stuff. And it could be like you mentioned, Fraser, you know, players that might be too small at a certain age or whatever, but obviously players develop at different ages and stuff, don't they? And and what doesn't work for one club might work for another.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, academies can only take on a certain amount of people, and there's hundreds, thousands, if not millions of young boys wanting to play football. So not everyone gets the chance. And like I said, if you've got the motivation and the opportunity from elsewhere, then there's always a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah,
100%, 100%. Mike, what's the next question, buddy?
Really quickly, just want to mention the last question was from John Saunders via Twitter, and this next question is from Mark from Kent. So, next question is: describe Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in one word.
you know the gif where Jose Mourinho says, "If I talk, I'm in big trouble."
That's brilliant.
That's probably the gif I'll use. If I talk, I'm in big trouble. No, to keep it professional. Sometimes in football, you just don't see eye to eye with certain people, and that's just kind of how it went, really. No bad words against him, but yeah, we just didn't really get on.
Why did you have to leave while you were still kind of on the books at Burton? He could have waited to the end of the season, couldn't he? But
yeah, well, he didn't like me. I didn't like him. It was a recipe for disaster. So,
say no more. Say no more. Ellis, what we got next, mate?
Yeah, got one in from Daz Smith on Twitter. How much does it cost to have your name on your shirt?
I don't know, yeah, I might have to shorten my name. I might just have to get Blake or just Tracy on the back just to help someone out. I have no idea. The hyphen as well don't really help, does it?
I think we've got Hoops on here at the moment, so I'm sure we could get an answer.
Aye, Stevie Hooper and Jonah. I said I'd mention them, but two really important people at the club. Two of my favourite people at the club, really good people.
Both legends of the Tom
Legends, yeah, that's the word for them.
Absolute legends. On that one, I'll try and do it in my head. If you count in a pound or lesser, a five or a number, you're looking at I don't even know, almost 30
grand.
Yeah, no one wants me on the back of their shirt. Get someone who's scoring the goals.
Now I want a Blake-Tracy shirt. Cheers, Frazer.
Yeah.
Joddy, what we got next?
You can't afford it, mate.
That's true.
FBT will do. Frazer, did you ever discuss Swindon with Johnny Smith when you were at Burton? Did he sort of advise you at all prior to your move down here?
Did who? Sorry, Johnny Smith.
Smith.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Yeah, Johnny, what a good guy. No, I didn't really speak to him much before I came. I didn't even ask him about it because I didn't even know he was here. But then when I got into the kit room, Hoops and Jonah showed me one of his shirts on the wall. And they were like, "Did you know Johnny was here?" I was like, "Oh yeah." Oh, I didn't really know he was here before. But Reedy was here before, so I had a little. Reedy, I was with Reedy at Peterborough. Sorry. So yeah. I had a little conversation with him before I came to Swindon, and he had nothing but good things to say.
Oh, that's something. That's good. Yeah, I think Johnny was here for half a season.
Yeah.
He scored in his debut, didn't he, fellas?
I think he did, yeah. Charlton, wasn't it? In the Cup.
Yeah, could be.
Cool. Just saying about... Didn't know Johnny Smith was here. You were on the bench against us. Johnny Smith for us, I think, when we played you away. Was it 3-1? I think.
I think I remember that game.
You guys come back 3-1.
Yeah, I think I remember that game. You played good football back then, and yeah, I think you scored first, didn't you?
Nope.
He's just checking the internet, I reckon.
Yeah, we lost Joe. Is Joe?
I think we have lost Joe.
Oh no, Joe's had a stop.
Who had the next question?
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
I'm back. Sorry. Let's move on.
Like that, Joe. I started
I'm
panicking.
on, Joe.
I started panicking.
We'll edit that out. Don't worry, it's fine. Anyway, let's move on swiftly. It's me. Look at that. Luck. What did you think when you first pulled into the County Ground car park? What were your first impressions of the stadium?
Yeah, like a decent club. And then the longer I've been here, I've realised this is like a proper football club. No disrespect to like a team like Burton. They the fan base and everything isn't anywhere near like a Swindon. Do you know what I mean? I came even the first game, I was like, wow, this is a proper football club with proper like fans. Do you know what I mean? You can sometimes on the pitch, you can bet like you can't hear the person talking next to you. So no, I thought I'm delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to like be playing for a proper football club.
We lost Joe again.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about car parks, there's a certain fan who likes to come around. I don't know if you've met him. Football Phil. Does that name ring any bells?
It doesn't ring any bells.
Oh, you don't know Football Phil? He tends to walk about. He's an older gentleman, and he at the moment he wears like a Barcelona hat. I don't know if that's going to help at all.
Is it a bucket hat?
No, it's not. It's like a cap. If you don't know him, you don't know him. But if you don't, you will eventually. But it's right on. I think we'll skip over that question then.
What a transition that was, by the way. I must say, Arch, it was a great transition.
Thank you very much. I think our next question is Nick.
Yeah, it is indeed. So this one comes from Pieman on Twitter. What's the best thing about playing for Swindon so far? What have you enjoyed the most?
Probably leading on from the question I just answered was just playing for like that many fans. You know what I mean? I think I saw a stat the other day. It's the second highest attendance in League Two after Bradford, and when you walk out, you could like most games now just feel like proper football games rather than just poor games sort of thing. I'd say definitely walking out and playing in front of a decent fan base.
Yes, good. The attendance has been building through last season into this.
Well
one.
done, boys, for carrying that. I think I'm back. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, mate.
We can indeed.
Mate. Sound. I'm sweating. I'm absolutely bottling this. What was the last question that was asked? Who asked it? Was it Nick?
We've just had the best thing about playing for Swindon.
Okay.
From Pie Man.
Mike, you're up next, mate. Save us again.
All right. So this is a simple question. Who is the best trainer at the club? I guess they mean like coach. Who's the best trainer or coach at the club?
Oh, good question. Who is the best trainer? I'd like to think I'm professional and do training right. Who else is a good trainer? Probably, I'd say like the older boys. Ben Gladwin's a very good trainer. He's a top player as well, so he brings his quality. He's one to like encourage the boys. If trainer's not going as well, someone makes a mistake. Yeah, I'd say probably Ben Gladwin.
Do you reckon there's a lot of that in the squad at the moment, where players just sort of have that camaraderie?
I could have said Ben Gladwin from the start there. To be fair, I think you can tell.
Yeah, Ben. When I watched the playoffs last season when it was away at Port Vale, I was like, what's going on with like Gladwin? Why is like he not playing? And I realised he had a good team and he came back from injury. And for me this season, like I don't know how he's in this league because he's been so good that he's just a top player. I don't know how he's here. I don't know how he's ended up here, but it's a pleasure to play with him.
Just sort of on a side note, I don't think Joe can hear anyone, so if he interrupts anyone, it's his internet.
It's going very well for Joe tonight.
Yeah. I think I've got the next one.
You do indeed, Ellis. You do indeed.
So, who has the worst banter at SM1?
Absolutely easy answer. Seydou Khan.
Ooh.
Bores me to sleep all the time.
Because I get the impression from his Instagram story, to be fair. You see some of the stuff he puts out. It is top quality. It is brilliant. I don't know how you can sit there and tell us all that he's got the worst banter.
No, it's funny. I'm probably being harsh on him. We do have a good laugh. If I'm being honest, the worst banter. I don't want to stitch anyone up here.
Can we get a hint? Can we get a hint?
I don't even know.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Come on, say someone. You do have
Who's got
to.
the worst
Yeah,
banter?
you do have to.
All right.
You do have to.
Yeah, all right. It's probably Conor Brand, the new goalkeeper.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chucked him right.
we've heard he
I had to be honest.
from Tom, we have heard that he absolutely butchered his what was it? His initiation song as well. Supposedly, that's also something he seems to be getting a little bit too much stick on the Certain Broadbent Lounge podcast at the moment. But
that was up there with one of the worst initiations I've ever seen. It was terrible.
What do you say?
I think he sung maybe an Ed Sheeran song. But the way I think so. But the way he sung it was just, it was terrible.
That sounds dramatic.
Right, Joe, are you back in business for your question, mate?
I'll give it a go if you boys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we've got you.
You sure can.
Okay, perfect. How difficult was the jump from the Southern League to League One? That's from Nathan on WhatsApp.
Yeah, it was definitely a big jump. I was always confident in my abilities, but yeah, I definitely learned a lot. I kind of learned on the job as well because I kind of got thrown in quite early on because I played a few good games and then I kind of went with that momentum, and then after that momentum kind of like left me, I was kind of like then learning on the job sort of thing. But yeah, it was a big jump. The speed of play, how quickly you got to move off the ball. Yeah, it was a tough jump, but one that I think I took in my stride.
To be fair, you've done it right for yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. It's one way of putting it, isn't it?
Arch, move us along, buddy.
Righty on. So, kind of, sort of building on that is, when did you first know that you would make it as a professional footballer? Or was there a moment that you thought, I'm gonna make it, or was it always kind of like something you had, or was there a moment, or has it always kind of been there?
Yeah, good question. I always believed that was the only thing I wanted to do and the only career that I wanted to pursue. But I had to be patient because even at like 16, I wasn't the biggest. When I was about 16, I probably looked like I was about 13. I wasn't the biggest, so I had to get in the gym, had to bulk up, had to get stronger, fitter, play men's football sort of thing. But when was the first time I thought like I could do it? I had a few good season at Kings Lynn that I really thought like kicked me on. But no, I always thought I was going to make it, but it was just about timing.
Righty on. Okay, I think we've had a little overlap here, so I mean, hang on 1 second. I mean, I might as well just ask this one again so we're back on track. But what has been your best moment since turning pro?
Getting promoted from League One to the Championship with Peterborough. Yeah, simple answer. Getting promoted. I don't think in a footballer's career, some people never get promoted. So to get promoted, I was very grateful, and hopefully I can get 1, 2 or many more promotions before I finish my playing career.
Yeah, hopefully one this year as well. That would be ideal, really. Next up, I think we've got Nick.
Yeah. So, what's the worst advice you've ever received as a pro?
What? Oh, good question. What is the worst advice? Yeah, God. What is the worst advice?
Maybe the best and worst, if you've had any particularly good advice as well.
What is the worst advice? Stick to what you're good at. Yeah, I can remember a coach saying, "Just stick to what you're good at," and I kind of thought, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll stick to what I'm good at." And then I thought, "Hang on, I'm limiting myself here." Do you know what I mean? Then yeah, I didn't really, I weren't working on my weaknesses, and then yeah, I can remember. I think it was in my youth team days. Yeah, one coach just said, "Yeah, stick to what you're good at." And I kind of took it with a pinch of salt, sort of thing. But yeah, looking back now, that was definitely the worst.
Nice.
Right, on next up, I think we've got Mike.
Okay, so this question is from Martin on WhatsApp, and it says, "What is your worst moment in a professional game?"
Worst moment. So yeah, I've not really told this story before. You know when COVID hit and footballers all had to kind of go home and do whatever. During that, I was road running quite a lot, so I really got into road running quite a lot to keep myself fit. And that second season where I went back to Peterborough, I really suffered really badly with tendonitis. So that second season at Peterborough, I never really done myself any justice, and it kind of led into the first 6 months of my time at Burton Albion. There was nights where I'd wake up and my knees are throbbing because I had patellar tendonitis, and I can remember playing. I think it was Portsmouth away when I was at Peterborough. The other left back at the time was injured, and I kept trying to train, and I wasn't right to play, but I kept trying to train and play. And I played away at Portsmouth for Peterborough, and yeah, I kind of just was miles off it. So that's one of the poorest games that I've played.
Wow. Yeah. Moving on. Next one. What is the best and worst thing that has ever been said to you by fans?
Yeah. When we played Grimsby the other day, I probably can't fully explain what they said because, yeah. But I like to, when the ball goes out of play and we're winning, I kind of like to wind fans up.
Yeah.
Just to maybe take a few yards extra, taking a throw in, or just a little wink or something, just to wind them up. Because you just got to entertain a little bit. So I think I was winking at someone, and it was quite quiet. And then one man he just said, I can't really say it. He just called me a scruffy something sort of thing, and yeah, I just started laughing. Yeah, that's one that
We all
I
know
remember quite recently.
Yeah, we all love a good shit house.
We're famous for shit houses, to be fair, aren't we, at town?
Yeah.
This is the thing, as a footballer, when you're constantly receiving it from the fans or games, sometimes, just giving, like you said, something small, like a little wink or something like that, it's like getting your own back in a small way. Do you know what I mean?
I think you've just kind of got to have fun with it. What they say, you just got to take with a pinch of salt because they obviously come to support their team and whatever. And yeah, I kind of just see it as all banter, really. Do you know what I mean? I don't take it to heart or anything. So
yeah.
To be fair, you're showman, aren't you? At the end of the day, you're putting on a show.
That's what I mean. Fans, well, whether they're your fans or other fans, they come to be entertained and they want to have a good time. They pay their money, so they want to be entertained. And if I can wink at someone or just smile at someone and make him a little bit more angry, then
that's
that's
fair
fine
enough.
by me.
Arch, I think you've got the next one.
Yeah, mate.
I think
So
this is the last question, I think, as well, guys, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
No,
Is it after you?
No, it's not.
yeah, we can keep
I
going,
think
mate.
it's the time related thing. So I mean, the next question we have is, what has been your best SN1 experience to date?
Best SM1 experience. Probably making my debut. Yeah, probably making my debut. Walking out and then not realising how many fans were going to be there, how good of an atmosphere it was going to be. Yeah, I'd probably say my debut, but
I was going to say, because obviously I don't think you don't see the fans, I assume, until you walk out the tunnel onto the pitch. I mean, you won't see the stadium full. Is that quite a big deal, walking out and seeing that many fans?
yeah, 100%. Like during the warm up, you're just concentrated on, like you say, getting warm, concentrating on the game, and as you walk out, you can't really concentrate on anything else other than you just hear loads of people like like cheering and roaring. So, yeah, that's definitely for sure. It gives the boys a buzz. I know that.
Yeah, I can imagine how good that would be. Next up, I think we got a question from Joe.
We have. Do you know what? This whole Wi-Fi thing's blown me completely. I've lost all my timings. I've lost where I am on the sheet. You boys are carrying this.
Joe,
Frazer, thank
sort it
you for
out,
being-
please.
Oh, boys, absolute nightmare. Anyway, let's get back to business. This is a big thing at town, I think, this season. Who is the best table tennis player at the club? Is it you, Sol, Tyrese, or Saidu?
Oh God, yeah, I ain't even giving it to him, but it definitely is Saidu Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. He can have the table tennis, but I'll have the pool table for sure. Yeah, he's the best table tennis. He likes to. I'll give it. Oh, that's the only thing I'll give him.
I've seen Conor Bran and Luke Jeffcott giving it big on Insta over Paul.
No, keep them two away from it. Disaster.
Right, Eon, next up. It's a little bit similar, but sort of table tennis. It's football. But who is the best player you've ever shared a pitch with?
Who's the best player? The best player, I'd say Ivan Toney. Yeah, when I was at Peterborough, obviously probably wasn't performing to the levels he is now, but you could kind of see how good of a player he was and where he was going, and just what a top player he was. So yeah, I'd probably say Ivan Toney.
Right, very nice. So, next up, we have got a question from Nick, I believe. If we still got Nick.
I can jump in for Nick on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you unwind after a match, Frazer?
How do I unwind? I think you've just kind of got to switch off after a game. Like the whole week, you just prep, think of football, think of this, think of all the things that you need to do. And then when football's done, as much as I care about it, you kind of just got to like leave football at football. Do you know what I mean? So I come home, so every fortnight, I try and go back to Norwich. If I go back to Norwich, I get to spend time with friends and family. If I stay up here in Swindon, then I'll just probably go out for some food with a few of the boys or something. But yeah, I switch off by just with good company, really.
Okay.
It's always important to have those this kind of people around you, especially away from home as well. You know, that's strong support circle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I've got the next question. This is an interesting one actually. What is your favourite and least favourite away ground? And that's from Max on WhatsApp.
Is that League Two?
I reckon it could be any ground.
Yeah, we'll go with maybe do League Two, and then your favourite like that you've ever been to, or is it much so far?
Yeah, I'd say in League Two. If I don't get booked and get 5 yellow cards, I'm looking forward to going to Bradford, because I know they get a lot of fans and I've got a few friends there that I'd like to beat. What other big clubs have I played at? I've been on the bench and watched the game. Oh, I've been on the bench and watched the boys play away at Sunderland, and that's a proper like stadium. Do you know what I mean? So I'd probably say them too.
Nice. So there's your favourites. Have you got like a least favourite?
Oh, least favourite.
Oxford.
Yeah, Oxford. Yeah, definitely Oxford.
Good answer. Very good answer.
That's the answer we were hoping for.
That's a safe answer.
That is good. That is a very good answer.
I think I've got the next one. Fraser, what made you decide Swindon out of all clubs?
Well, leaving Burton, I didn't have like loads of options because when you play for a team like Burton, like if you're not playing, do you know what I mean? It's not like you're going to be full with loads of options. But
yeah, of course.
I didn't want to drop down to League Two, but that's like the only options that I had. And then I weighed up the options that I did have, and I thought, this is a proper football club. I knew a few of the boys before I come here. They've got aspirations to go higher. And now I'm here. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm happy. Good decision.
Yeah, sweet. Next one is
it's a controversial question that arose.
This is
very important. I like controversial.
It's a very important question. We've had big arguments on Twitter this week.
This is basically Fraser. Me and Ellis had an argument last week on the show. Sort of had Tom Clayton sitting in the middle of it, probably head spinning, didn't know what was going on. But we had a question last week about what you'd have on your like takeaway order, if you like. As it happened, Ellis was sat there having a Chinese takeaway, like in front of him, and he mentioned he had chips on there, which to me, I think chips on a Chinese takeaway
it's wrong.
It's wrong. That is wrong. Yeah. So the question's simple: chips with a Chinese, yes or no?
You say on top of a Chinese,
it's just part of your
sorry
Chinese
if I'm upsetting
order.
a few. Yeah, I wouldn't have them on top of my Chinese, but I would have.
There we go.
I would have a bag. I would have a bag of chips on the side.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Fraser, you're wrong because I put a poll up and it was a landslide of a yes.
I don't think it was a landslide, was it? It was more.
Well, I think it was about 60%.
I'm pretty sure.
That's not a landslide.
That's a landslide in my opinion.
All right, let's keep it off air, boys. It's a controversial topic.
Yeah, exactly. Right,
Ellis,
you again, Ellis. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, I've been a bit distracted by the chips. Am I next?
You are in.
Oh yeah, I am.
It's come from a familiar face, this question as well, from Kev Metcalf, I believe.
It is indeed.
Sorry, does anyone else have the question? Because I'm completely lost there.
So,
sorry, everyone.
Fraser, are you Jay McEvely's friend?
You're going to have to let me know who Jay McEvely is first.
He played for us a little while, more than a little while ago now. I think is he retired now? I think. Maybe. But yeah, I mean, you might have to Google.
Pretty sure he is, yeah.
You might, if you give him a Google, I think you'll see why.
He could play you in a movie. He's like a body double. That's mad.
To be fair, now that I'm looking at it,
similar position, similar like attributes.
You know what?
Why are we compared?
But I think you resemble each other. You're also left backs. I think Jay came in on loan as well, didn't he, to start with? So
I believe so.
Both popular players too.
Yeah,
they sure do. Should I go with the next one then? Considering I messed it up.
Never mind. So,
are you scared of spiders?
I'm not scared of spiders. No, I'm not.
Okay, that was a pretty simple question.
I mean, controversial opinion, but
yeah, not as controversial as chips, but
yeah, not quite. Have we got Nick back yet? Is Nick?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Yes,
we
yeah,
can.
we are. I think next one's your question.
This one might require a bit of thought, Fraser, but your top 5 albums of all time.
Oh, top 5.
Would top 3 make it easier?
Yeah, top 3 probably. I'm not very good with album names. If you know an American singer called Giveon, he's brought out a new album called Give or Take. I like that one. That's quite a recent one. An English singer called Ella May. One of her albums, and then I would probably have to go with. I'd have to go with an old school Usher album for sure.
Oh, nice.
I don't
Lovely
know
stuff.
the titles of them, but Usher for sure.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. So, moving on, I think, Mike, you've got a question up next.
Yeah, this is less of a question, but more of like I guess a challenge. But I'm not sure if you're into like stand-up comedy. But the question is, just tell us a funny joke.
Oh, now we're
talk about on the
talking.
spot.
Now we're talking. I've got a few jokes.
What, lined up,
That's what
ready
we
to
like to
go?
hear.
They're so bad that I think they're good.
Okay.
Hit us up.
That's dodgy territory.
I'm
that.
buzzing.
Yeah,
To go
it's
very
dodgy
well.
territory, and I
Let's
could
get
get
this.
I could get hammered for this at football, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna do it.
This could go
why
either
not?
way.
Already
Yeah, it
the
could go
lads
either
on.
way. What?
I mean, no, Hoops is here at least, so I mean, you will
Yeah,
hear about this.
Hoops is here. I know Hoops will like it. So my first joke is, what do you call a Spanish man leaving a hospital?
I don't know. What do you call a Spanish man leaving a hospital?
Oh.
Manuel.
Oh, bloody hell.
These are bad jokes.
I really couldn't tell where that was going to go.
I've got another one. I'll give you one more.
Oh, Hoops has requested. I think he's got an opinion on it.
Uh-oh.
Let's get Hoops on. What's Hoops say about that?
Get Hoops in here.
Here he is. Hoops, what was that about?
That's terrible.
Hooper!
You're right, Fraser.
Yeah, I know he liked it.
Did. It's better than Jonah's.
That was almost a Jonah joke. I'm expecting to see that on a TikTok soon.
Have we got any more?
I got one more for you.
Oh, you're spoiling us.
Yeah, I know. What is blue and not very heavy?
Go on.
Dunno.
Light blue.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for
Steve,
tonight.
Hoops, you love it. I know you do.
Yeah, it's perfect. Brilliant.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
Hoops, get him on a TikTok video.
Yeah, we will.
You get
For sure.
shamed for his comedy.
I'll just get
Well-
Fraser telling jokes. That'll do it.
I mean, yeah, Fraser, at least we know you're probably in the right profession because you're not in comedy.
I'd give it a good old go. I'd give it a go.
Yeah, to be fair, it was decent. It was decent.
I think Fraser could be like a Tim Vine sort of comedian, just rolling out shit jokes and just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
I'd do a good job.
I think we've got our last question, haven't we?
We
Yeah.
do indeed.
It's from me. Fraser, dogs, cats, or footballers? That is the question.
Dogs, cats, or foot? What in order? 1, 2, 3, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
I would go. I'd probably go dogs, cats, then footballers. Yeah, footballers.
I think that
Yeah,
is the
footballers are
right
boring.
answer.
Have
Yeah.
you
Is
got
that
any? Have you
footballers
got?
like the bottom?
Yeah, footballers at the bottom.
Wow. Have you got any pets?
Yeah, back home in Norwich, I've got a dog and a cat.
What dog have you got? What breed?
We've got a little Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Oh, nice. Love Staffies. They're so cute.
Sorry, that made me laugh.
Just so you know, I've just sent you a picture of Jay McEvely.
Okay, I'll have to have a look.
Can you see it, Hoops? Can you see it?
Oh, yeah. Me and Jonah said it the first week he walked in.
Because it is bang on. I saw the question, and then like Googled it, had the two pictures side by side, and I was like, hang on a minute. And little bit of likeness there.
It's uncanny. And also, I think it's a massive compliment because Jay was a top lad, and Fraser, you're a top lad too. So,
Thank you.
I
There we are.
tell you what, team, we nailed that bang on 45 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. That good timing. Good timing.
well, I did my best to ruin it all.
Yeah, very very nice,
Yeah.
Joe. Would you like to make up for it by wrapping us up, Joe?
Yeah, like I say, Fraser, we've had 45 minutes of questions. We've gone through everything we had. Sort of thing we like to do with the boys when they come on the show. As a player to us Town fans, is there anything you'd like to ask us?
Oh, what would I like to ask you boys? What? Yeah, I guess you'll all just say promotion. But actually, I won't ask that question. I'll ask another question. Who do you want me to get you boys next? And I'll pester them.
Tell you what,
Darcy,
that's a banging.
baby.
Oh,
We
You
do
want
need
me to
Ronan
get
Darcy
Darcy?
in it, to
Yeah,
be
I
fair.
want Darcy as well. Actually,
Yeah,
want
I
Darcy.
think we all want Ronan Darcy on.
That we need Sadie Khan on here.
we do need Sado Khan and Ronan Darcy to be fair. So yeah, either of those two boys, Fraser.
All right, I'll get on to Ronan Darcy. He's
Lovely
under my
stuff.
wing already, so I'll get Darcy for you. I'll pester him.
Yeah, right.
Amazing.
top man.
What a hero, Fraser! Thank you so much for coming on to the show, mate. It means a lot to us. You've been excellent. We're going to carry on with the show a little bit, just with sort of any other business, wrapping up the show with a preview of the games coming up. You're welcome to stick around. If you need to drop off, then please do, mate. Just thank you for coming on, buddy. Really appreciate that.
Nah, gents, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Top man.
Fraser.
Nice
Get
to
It's a
that,
pleasure.
get that 5-year deal signed in January, yeah?
That's not my decision.
I'll message Sandro now.
Okay,
Yes,
Yeah, it's up to both sides, bro.
okay, gents. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers,
Top
Fraser.
man.
Have a
Cheers,
good one,
Fraser.
bro.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Fraser.
Bye,
Cheers.
bye.
And cheers, Hoops, as well for the jump
For
in
the
there.
little
That was beautiful.
cameo, yeah.
Yeah, no problem, lads. I'm off. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Cheerio.
See you later.
See you
Thanks,
later.
Hoops. Cheers, Hoops. Well, boys, that was an eventful 45 minutes.
What a
Yeah,
lovely man.
indeed.
What a lovely man. He honestly, he saved that show.
He did. Well,
It really, yeah.
you really tried your best there to
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
to
you
cock it
really
all
tried
up.
your best there.
Nearly
To ruin
succeeded.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologise profusely for Sky's ability to run a Wi-Fi system. It's shocking.
All I saw at the top of my screen was you panicking in the group chat.
Yeah,
I can't hear anyone.
exactly. I mean, to be fair, I think this just points the finger more for the previous FBT interview towards you, Joe.
I did say at the start I blame Joe.
I'm going to continue to blame Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arch,
Hands
I am
held
on
up.
your side.
We just can't have Blake-Tracy on anymore. He causes these issues, man.
Yeah,
Well-
it's just causing internet issues,
Yeah,
man.
every time we have him on, something goes wrong.
He must be made of lead or something. Anyway, yeah, going on from that, I mean, he was fantastic. I thought he spoke really well. What a likable gent, as well as being a cracking footballer. Genuinely, I said it in the intro, we're told to never fall in love with lone players, but I am fully...
I tell myself every year that I won't do it.
Yeah.
There's always one in there.
Well, Solbrin as well.
Well, we keep
no,
we
that's
keep on
not-
getting good ones, don't we?
Yeah,
we can't
that's
we
the
can't
issue.
talk about Sol. That's once again our weekly disclaimer. Any Borough fans, he's dreadful. You don't want him back.
Look,
Absolutely shocking.
Blake-Tracy, he's certainly a player we need to be looking at signing, right?
Oh, 100 million %.
100%, yeah.
I think, to be honest, going into January window, in my eyes, I think he's got to be our number one target, and he's already at the club.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the team sheet, he's sort of one of the first players that you're going to put on it.
Well, he's played 90 minutes every game he's been here.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's just so good.
Yeah, no,
I
I
think-
totally
I
agree,
think-
mate. He's fabulous.
Yeah,
So we've had some controversial Wi-Fi connections and tomfoolery over the show, another controversial thing that's popped up over the last couple of days was the news that the EFL are looking at sort of ending their blackout TV coverage. I think it's from the end or the start of next season. They're thinking of airing 3 p.m. games on a Saturday, maybe doing some sort of streaming service. I know we have iFollow at the moment, which is supposed to be for people obviously living abroad, with the help of a VPN in the UK. I'm not condoning anything, but
Obviously,
it's
yeah.
still
It's just what we've heard. It's just speculation.
speculation. You can access iFollow in the UK with the help of a
on
VPN.
a Saturday. I live in Canada.
Exactly. But I mean, in my lifetime, obviously, I suppose in a lot of people's lifetimes, Saturday 3 p.m.'s it's a tradition for a lot of people. It's you go down to a football club near you or not local to yourself. Like I know me and Arch travel a distance to watch Townley.
Just
Arch
a little
probably
bit.
more so than that. But
Yeah.
for a lot of people, it's a time where you go to a football game, you don't watch it on telly, you spend time with your mates and your family, and because you can't watch it on TV, it sort of it pushes people and encourages people to do so. What are your boys' thoughts on potentially ending that now and more 3 p.m. games being on telly or being streamed? Just interested to see what you think. Obviously, Nick, you've experienced probably the 3 p.m. blackout throughout your whole life, and it's always been there. So, will it be different? Will it be odd?
It's a tricky one, though, isn't it? Because at the moment, like I'm probably a perfect case scenario for why they should probably change it up, because I don't make it to as many games. Kids play football and that kind of stuff. So I'm sort of relying on our US-based highlights Twitter hero, or just following stuff on streams or whatever. So it would actually be quite nice to be able to watch Town on a Saturday without having to sort of rely on dodgy streams and stuff like that. But by the same token, I guess what we don't want to do is take people away from going on a match day, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the counter argument, isn't it?
Yeah,
does it bring attendances down?
Yeah,
I'm not sure it will, to be fair.
No, I don't think it will. If anything, I think it might boost them, because people that can't normally watch a game, will start watching, and then it gives them an incentive to go to actually come and watch the Town.
Yeah, I think people who go are going to go. I think it'd just be nice for people who can't make it. So people who don't live close by or for whatever reason can't make it to games, it'd be nice to be able to actually check in and watch legally rather than illegally.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I mean, at the end of the day, there's always going to be a workaround to like the whole iFollow system, like there is at the moment. And quite honestly, people say it's you go on Saturday to a local club, but it's just not the same as watching your own club, and it never will be. At least for me, that is. And I mean, speaking from my perspective, it's kind of like I'd much rather watch an iFollow stream of Swindon than speaking to some of my mates who might be watching it, or have some mates around to watch the game, than like going to a team that I don't really know much about or kind of support. I mean, that's just obviously my opinion. But the thing is, the argument's there, obviously, that people will just stop going to like non-league games. But I feel like the people that are going to non-league games on the Saturday are going for the atmosphere as well. It's not just, for the club. I think obviously it's one of those things that there's two sides to every debate, obviously, but I think it would be positive.
I think in a way as well, the positive side of it could be the fact that you're at university in Bournemouth, Arch. If you can be watching Town every weekend, you can get your mates at university to watch the games with you. They're not locals to Swindon. They've got nothing to do with the club. But if they're watching it because of a mate, they could get involved with it too, start following the club, and it could be, you're gaining fans because of the exposure.
Yeah, exactly. Because then eventually I could convince them to make it to a home game, get them down to the county ground. Like I'm currently working on a Tottenham fan, so I mean he has agreed to come to the next game after Colchester. So
I'm not being
Right.
funny. If you're going to pick a supporter of a football club to try and seduce with the idea of not winning much, sort of sitting in
Well, it's not
limbo,
much different, is it?
it's probably a Spurs fan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of button in there, like looking at it from the EFL standpoint, surely it would benefit them if they can sort of stream it themselves, because they're going to make more money out of it, because people that aren't streaming are just illegally streaming it, and they're missing out on like potential people that would buy the stream. So I think you'll find they'll end up making more money out of it anyway.
Well, it seems a bit of a no-brainer to me, right? It's already being filmed because it's already been streamed for those who don't live in the UK. So the service is there; it's not costing them anymore.
Exactly.
And if you're going to be charging people whatever it is, it just feels like an additional revenue for them, and presumably the clubs will take a percentage of it as well. It seems like a bit of a no-brainer. I guess the only decision that they've got to work out is whether, by showing all the games on TV, whether that will have an effect on clubs' attendances. Because there's going to be loads of reasons why people might stop going these days anyway. Price of living, all this kind of stuff. So do they want another reason why people might not necessarily go to a game? I don't know. That's what they've got to work out.
It's been something that the lower leagues have complained about for a long time. They're not really seeing a lot of the revenue from the TV money. So I think this is one way to sort of remedy that. But yeah, the three main issues are exposure, audience, and revenue. As long as the audience, they're attending, they're still attending the game. That's a main thing. The exposure to new audiences, you guys already mentioned. Getting new fans is huge. And then if the lower league clubs see more revenue as well, then it's just a win-win, really.
Well, thinking from my perspective, right? So my kids both play football on Saturdays, so it's tricky for me to go, and I'm someone that goes to quite a few home games. And my kids are at an impressionable age where, they should be going to watch live football. They're sort of that age. So if we could, they play football, still come home, get to watch the odd Swindon game. There's probably loads of people in that situation. Loads of kids play football, and it's hard to get to games on a Saturday afternoon. It would be handy for so many people.
Yeah, completely agree.
I think you boys have talked me into the idea, I think I came into this show with an idea of being, kind of a traditionalist, 3 p.m. Saturdays being for the people that are actually there in person. But I think you guys have talked me into it. I think, Nick says, it's probably a no-brainer.
The thing is, those people go to games, right? People who go to a lot of games, they're probably going to go whatever. We're in League Two, and we don't go because the football's amazing. Really, we go because we see mates, or we go with family. It's just kind of like part of what we do, rituals and socialise and stuff like that. I think those people are still going to go whether it's on TV or not. So
yeah, I think you've nailed that there.
Yeah, definitely. No, I do agree. Anyway, moving on from that, we've got also some sort of trickle of news today that came through about potential payouts that clubs may receive for players that are at the World Cup in Qatar this December.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got Johnny Williams that we assume will be going to the World Cup. With Wales. There was also some interesting news as well on the FIFA statement. It mentioned, it gave an example of Gabriel Jesus, who'd moved to Arsenal in the summer, had spent his time where Brazil were qualifying at Man City. It says that both clubs, throughout the qualification and tournament periods that a player's represented, will receive payouts for this period of time that they're at the tournament. So that brings in Jojo Wallacott of Ghana, which is an interesting one because obviously he's no longer at the club. I think a lot of fans were disgruntled in a way when he'd left the club. This is maybe a sort of a silver lining, isn't it, really, when he's not representing us anymore, but we could be seeing some money because of the fact he's playing at Ghana.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter as well. Now, don't hold me to this because it could be a load of crap. But I've read a figure. I think it's $10,000. I think it's $10,000 per day, or the World Cup or something. Which I think someone said works out $300 $300,000,
God,
which could
yeah.
be.
That's sort of
I
our
mean,
wage bill out for a few months.
exactly. So if that is true, then well, yeah, happy days.
Can we backdate it to cover Luongo, Yaskazim, all those boys as well? That'd be quite handy.
Cheeky million for the club. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Do you know what though? For low league clubs who are lucky enough to have an international play for them, like, you know, if you're losing a player to an international match, the chances are he's probably one of your strongest players. So, you know, and you're losing them several times a season. That's quite a big loss to you. So it makes sense that there should be some kind of money filtered down from that.
I wonder, do nations or I suppose football associations, when they go away on international duty just for friendlies and stuff, do we receive payments for their wages over the time that they're covered when they're away? Because that, as Johnny said there, like, to receive some sort of compensation is what we need, really. Because we've got Johnny Williams away on a 2-week Nations League camp. He's probably one of our highest earning players, I'd assume. If he's not in training and sort of playing in a red shirt the weekend, should we be paying his entire wages for that time period? I mean, it's a question, I guess.
Especially when we had Woolacott as well. Like, he was our number one keeper. I mean, we were pretty lucky with having Wardy as our backup keeper. But if we didn't have him and Woolacott was gone, we'd be pretty screwed because we wouldn't have a keeper.
If I'm honest, this is the first time hearing about the fees as well. Honestly, this is I genuinely did not know that they paid out players who went to the World Cup. So if that's the case as well for training camps as well, they give some sort of compensation. That's absolutely huge for lower league clubs like us.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it makes sense, doesn't it? I think football clubs at this level, you can't afford to be paying players anything really, unless if they're injured, it's a different story. If they're taking a time away from the game due to other reasons, whatever, you can understand. But when they're playing football actively for a team that isn't your side, I suppose it's a question of who should be paying them, really, isn't it? I know it's an honour to play for your country, and I don't think anyone would ever begrudge a footballer for doing so. But when your bread and butter is playing at League 2 or League 1 level for a club like Swindon, it's a loss at town, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And to be honest, a lot of the the football associations or four nations, they probably have a decent amount of cash anyway, so they could probably afford to pay a few wages for the couple of weeks that they're out, I imagine.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm sort of brought on to talking about something I don't really want to get into. Bringing back some PTSD of watching some YouTube highlights. Thankfully, I wasn't there at the weekend. Stevenage away. Our good friend or our old enemy, Steve Evans. Who wants to take this one, boys? I think.
Can we just skip over this?
Oh no, we have to talk about it. Unfortunately, we talk about the good times. We'll talk about the times.
This one's pretty easy for me, I reckon. Stevenage are really strong. It's a bit of a free hit. You don't really expect to get anything away at top of the league when they've got such a good home record. I know the performance wasn't great.
Yeah,
but it's kind of they're beating everyone at home. Move on. Those games aren't going to be the games that kind of define our season, are they? Really, it's getting consistency against everyone else.
I've got something in me that tells me that Stevenage won't be anywhere near top of the league though. Come May, I can't see him staying there.
Yeah, they might have.
That's a
might have sort of shot their bolt already.
At the moment, they're.
I don't know. I just think I look at their squad and there's no one out there that for Stevenage that I think, wow, he's a problem. You got players like I don't even know, like Luke Norris. I know he didn't start the weekend; he was out injured. But Luke Norris, for me, isn't a top of the league striker. I think he does a job. Obviously, he's good in the 6-yard box. He's good from a penalty spot.
That is the thing, though, isn't it, about Stevenage? You look at them and it's like, oh, they're nothing special, but they do a job and they do it very well.
Mm.
So it's kind of like I don't know.
Steve Evans, I think,
Go-
will get found out as well. Steve Evans hasn't got many tricks up his sleeve, has he? Beyond
That's what I mean. It is all very plan A,
yeah,
but it's
but that I think that only gets you so far. You know, as we go through the season, you kind of got to adapt and change, and that was one of our downfalls last season. I think you're right. I reckon he'll probably I think Stevenage might fall away, but it's just I think for us it's just trying to keep up with the pack, isn't it? You know, at some point we're probably going to hit a run of some description, and hopefully we'll strengthen in January. And if we're sort of still in the mix, then all good. But yes, losing to Stevenage away, I know it was disappointing, sort of pretty limp display, but I don't know. I kind of just feel like that's a bit of a free hit, and we move on.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
going into the game, I genuinely thought we could beat Stevenage, like not comfortably, but you know, get a decent win. But they're just one of those sides, aren't they? Like, so as Swindon generally play good football, like good passing football, possession based football, and just Stevenage is just the opposite. It's just League Two as a whole is just a hard league, and it's a really hard league to get out of.
It is tough. I mean, you know that there's certain teams that are going to be sort of thereabouts. Like Northampton have been consistently decent for a couple of seasons. Leighton Orient, I think, are probably going to be pretty good because we know that Wellens has got what it takes to keep them up there. Bradford from proposition this year because of Mark Hughes. And then beyond that, outside of that, you don't really. I mean, obviously Mansfield were half decent last year, but beyond that, you know, there's nothing really there that you kind of look at and think, well, we should really be scared of anything else. It's just that consistency and turning sort of draws into wins.
Yeah, I think as well. Like Swindon, we just had a bad game. It wasn't our best game, to be honest.
To be fair, as Johnny said, it's a free hit, isn't it? Like at the end of the day, you have poor performances across the season. It's just if you beat everyone else that's below them in the league, you probably go up promotion automatically. So it's like,
like look, we drew against Leighton Orient. We
should have got a point out of Northampton.
Yeah, and we put a good performance against Salford. All these teams are going to be up there, and we didn't look bad, like up against them. Like we held our own, and you could argue we could have got 3 points in some of those games. So
and we struggle against this type as well. I'm not sure.
Whenever
like teams play sort of ball on the ground, passing football, I feel like that benefits us.
Yeah,
that's how we managed to get a result out of Orient because you know they want to play in like a similar sort of style, but when they just sort of lump it, they're very physical, aggressive in the air. That's when we sort of struggle. So I wouldn't look too much 100%. Into the result. And, you know, we got another game coming up on the weekend, so hopefully big performance there.
Well, if you look at the fixture list, we've got Mansfield, Bradford, and Tranmere all in a row after the next one, and they're all kind of, you know, how many points is that sort of separating the three of us? Not many. I don't know, is that 4 points separating the three of us? So we're all going to be much of a muchness. You know, it's those games. Really, I mean, I know two of them away from home, but I think we'll probably find out how good we are really in those three games.
Yeah, some tough games coming up. Like all these teams are playing, are probably going to be around us near the end of the season. So you'd like to think that we could put up a good performance against them.
This is the thing. This is why League Two is just a roster, isn't it? Because you guys mentioned, you come up against teams that are going to hoof the ball 50 foot into the air and ping it off of 5 people's heads, off of the post, probably hit someone in the balls and then roll in over the sort of the line.
Yeah,
and that's where they play football. It's different. And you play against the Steve Evans team, and unfortunately, that's just the way you have to deal with things.
It's such a horrible league.
And as we say it every time we're in this league. The sooner we're out of it, the better, because you're playing against teams like genuinely. You probably fancy us against quite a few of the League One teams because although technically on paper, I say it a lot, football's not played on paper, but on paper they've got better players than us. Maybe it depends. If we go up there, we revamp the squad, we could be competing in terms of budgets or whatever. That's not me to say. But a lot of those teams will play football on the floor, very technical based. I think, as Juddy said, that suits us.
Yeah.
So we'd probably compete at a half decent level in League One when you're not coming up against giants like a Newport County or a Sutton United.
Yeah, and sort of following on from your point, like if you look at Stevenage, sort of, and compare it to our team man to man, we've got a better side. Like if you look at their 11 and our 11, I'll pick our starting 11 all day. Like on paper, we've got one of the best teams in the league, I think. But it's what you do with them.
Well, you could have said the same. You know, I looked at us and Port Vale last year. You know, you look at the two squads. There's no question which one you'd rather have, but they were just a really, really effective team, and they're doing it again this year. You know, you talk about sort of, you know, if we go out, we might find it easier competing in League One. Look at Vale and Cambridge this year are more than holding their own.
Exactly, yeah, and Exeter as well.
Yeah, they're all holding their own up there. It's just this league is just to kind of get out by any means.
Yeah, really. I think Joe sort of touched on it. It's just a mix of like styles. Like every team sort of is such a. It's you can play one team one week and then the next week it's a completely different game, like a completely different style. Whereas in League One, it's sort of similar playing styles, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, to be honest though, like when we get into winter and, you know, teams start getting more injuries and stuff, I mean, I think the fact that it took us a little while to figure out what our sort of favoured starting 11 is might help us a little bit, actually, because we do have a bit of strength in depth, and I think other clubs might get a little bit found out when there's injuries and stuff. I mean, maybe not the likes of Northampton and Salford, but other sort of smaller squads, particularly stuff like Stevenage, I think they're gonna find the winter a bit tricky when the games are coming thick and fast.
Yeah,
100%. I think Hannah's as well. Hannah's has just left a comment regarding that. Pretty much, he says we missed a skipper big time. Pretty much gave them both goals. Bad day at the office. Stevenage and most others at the top will struggle when injuries and suspensions hit. I mean, I've got to agree. Really, I think you look at the bench that Stevenage had sat out there. There's no one on that bench really that screams at you like threat in particular.
Yeah.
I think you see as well a lot of teams, they'll have a lot of youngsters on the bench. Players, I always think when I see a player with the shirt number above 35 or 40, I think, okay, like, come on now, they're probably 17, 18 years old. Not a lot of football behind their back. And then that's when you see, I mean, you go back a few years ago when we were in League Two. I think it was the winter months we started struggling with injuries, and we had Scott Twine and Sol Price up front. Yeah.
Well, like this season, we're spoilt with choice, really. I mean, I hate to sort of compare to last season, but our squad depth compared to last season is like totally different. The players that we've got on the bench that we can bring on, and that will help us in the long run. And even with not having as many loan players as last season, that's when we got caught out last season when Simpson got recalled and stuff like that. We didn't have a striker when Simpson got recalled. So just having that depth in the squad as a whole is obviously just going to benefit us so much.
Yeah, well, when you talk about last year's squad, there's probably, I think the difference this year between this Swindon team and last year's Swindon team, and only time will tell whether it's better or worse. But last year we had there was a proper core to the team that was kind of undroppable.
Yeah,
and was kind of like the stars of the show. Payne, McCurdy. This year, there's definitely a stronger squad, maybe without the kind of individual star quality.
Well,
but as a collective, maybe stronger. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you want to have players there that you don't want a player to feel comfortable because they're not going to try. You know, you want a player to try and earn his place, if you know what I mean. And if you've got someone on your back, sort of trying to get into your position, it's going to make you want to perform better.
Yeah, it's that friendly competition.
Yeah.
That's what you want in every sort of squad. And to be honest, I think Juddy's right 100%. Like, you know, there aren't many teams in this league that have the kind of depth that we've got this season. I think it's quite impressive from the management that we've managed to, you know, get such quality in so many positions. And I also completely agree with what you said about having like a marquee player. Like, I don't think there is a McCurdy in the squad this season, and that's okay. We're still doing fine as it is. Like, yeah, you know, I think we all want to be pushing for the autos, but if we finish the rest of the season in playoff spots, still pushing for autos, I wouldn't necessarily be unhappy. We're still in and around where I think where we deserve to be. So, you know, I still think there's time for this team to gel and put in even better performances. There's only been one game where I really feel like we put in a performance that is near the sort of level we're capable of. So, yeah, hopefully we'll manage to continue on the upward trend.
Definitely, it depends whether your glass is half full or empty, doesn't it? You know, I'd agree with that. You know, we haven't really hit our stride yet, and part of me thinks, why is that? What's the problem? And the other part of me thinks, at some point we will, and then we'll steamroll it for, you know, we'll go on a run of 6-7 weeks, and we might be that team that kind of, you know, gets in there with a real strong. Yeah, maybe. I mean, at the moment, you know, looking at it, I don't think we look like an automatic side, because other sides have got more consistency than us, and I think there's I think we're still sort of finding our way in terms of system and preferred starting 11, and maybe that will come. But
I think the big difference, like with this year's team as well, I think last season you could pick the starting 11 every single week. If everyone's fit, you know who's starting. I think this season it's probably it shows the greater squad depth that we have over obviously this season compared to last. But I genuinely don't think that anyone can predict every single starting 11 100% every single week. I think the gaffer, especially in midfield, the gaffer's got so much to play with that we've got players that can fill in or do a job, or not even do a job, play really well, and next week they're dropped for someone else, and it's like.
And formations as well. We've got the option to play different formations. If we want to play 5 at the back, we've got the players to play 5 at the back. If we want to play a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2, like, we've got the options there to mix it up.
100%. And like what comes with that as well, obviously a change of formation naturally comes with a bit of a change of system and a change of roles as well. I'd say, for example, in a back 4, a left back's role would be quite different to what they would be in a back 5 if playing sort of a wing back role, you know. So because of that, if we are switching between formations to suit our opponents, it might cause a bit of confusion in terms of tactically and setting players up on the sidelines. I know there's something that quite a lot of fans complained about early on in the season. It seemed like it was 3 or 4 coaches giving directions to one player at the same time. But you know, after the sort of chat that we had with the official supporters club and Clem and you know the staff behind the club, they sort of explained that one. But yeah, from the outside looking in, at times it definitely did look a bit chaotic.
Yeah, I think with a back 5 as well, you've got players obviously like Ellis or Angelo, who to me in a back 5 as a wing back is probably your option, whereas in a back 4, Frazer probably every day because he's just steady,
100%, yeah.
Going forward at the back as well. We've got the options in the squad to play around the formations. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I think you need the option there, because some teams that you come up against, you need to switch it up. But like Mike said, you don't want to be changing it every game, because the players just get confused. I can imagine they feel like they're sort of playing different positions all the time, different roles. And if you can stick to that one role and sort of perfect that, I mean, I could be wrong, but
yeah, I agree.
All of these things, though, having different systems and being able to change players around, ultimately, it's going to be dictated to by the results. And when we had that run of games, we won 3 in a row. All of the things that we'd been kind of like complaining about at the start of the season were now sort of like tactical masterstrokes. So all of these things are great, but we're always going to be dictated to. Scott will always be dictated to by whether he's winning games or not.
It's a fickle game.
It is. But if he's changing systems and he's making the right changes and all that kind of stuff, if he's winning games, he can pretty much do what he wants. But we'll all be criticising or questioning those decisions if they're draws or they're not winning. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. I think bang on there.
Speaking of starting 11s and if we're looking at changing things up, obviously we've got different formations up our sleeve. We've got good squad depth. Going on to Saturday, obviously we've got 20th place Colchester. Now, I'll try and put that 20th place Colchester in because they should be beatable. But this is Swindon Town against Colchester, and we know what happens when Swindon Town play Colchester.
Yeah. Look, you would think that we'd get a win, right? But I thought that we'd beat Stevenage, but I know they are a better side.
The thing that gets me, it's always Colchester. Every single year we have different players playing for us, different players playing for them. Why are they always our bogey team? Why is that a thing?
They're not even good.
They're not even good. No, I agree.
No, well, hopefully we can turn it around. I think we do need 3 points this weekend. And I genuinely do think we'll get 3 points. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it. I think this is 3 points as well. We're a bit of a wounded animal after Stevenage. Colchester aren't very good. 3 points.
Yeah, we definitely can't lose. I know that.
It's one of those ones, isn't it? We lost against Northampton. We saw an instant reaction against Newport, which, as I've described it a load of times, it was the most 3-0, 1-0 win I've ever seen in my life. Newport. So yeah, I mean, fingers crossed we see the same reaction from the boys on Saturday.
Yeah, should we get predictions for Saturday?
Mate, you can give me your best 5-0 prediction. I'll take that.
Right. Considering I think I said 2-0 for Stevenage game.
Yeah.
I was very wrong. I will go 3-1 to Town, and I think you'll see a hat-trick from Ronan Darcy.
Oh, that sounds like music to my ears.
Yeah.
Who's starting 11, Ellis?
Oh, all right. So
that as well.
4-3-3. Blake-Tracy left back, Clayton and Baldry, and then Hutton right back.
Yep.
Then we will have Reed, Gladwin and Darcy in midfield, and then a front three of Jeffcott, Wakelin and Shade.
That's fairly similar to what I go with. I think, obviously, you mentioned Reedy in there. We saw Reedy get dropped at the weekend.
I know.
What are your boys' thoughts on that? I mean, it didn't go the way the gaffer would have planned, I'm sure, but
I was shocked. I was shocked. My initial thoughts was that he was, injured or something, but then I saw he was on the bench.
Yeah.
But there must have been a reason for it.
That's going to be one of the biggest conundrums of the season so far, isn't it? That he's not...
we can all admit that he hasn't had the best start this season. Well, compared to last season.
He's just set himself a very, very high standard, really.
Yeah.
I think he's not a bad season by any stretch. I think he's still, every single game you see him play, he'll make a cross-field ball, or he'll intercept a really clever bit of play. He runs with it really well. He dribbles past players. He brings it out from the back from corner situations and set pieces. He creates attacking transitions. He's just not as, I think, we've not seen any worldies this year. I think at the start of last season, he scored a couple of free kicks, some knuckleball worldies.
Yeah,
he'd probably start a little bit more.
I think his passing this season hasn't been as good. I think that's the one thing that sort of stood out to me. But but like you said, he certainly he hasn't been playing bad. He just hasn't been playing as good as he was last season.
No,
Do you think Rockworthy?
I have to say, I genuinely do think. Sorry to butt in. Yeah, I actually was saying earlier on in the season that I would actually be giving Reed a bit of time, away from the pitch, because I think I heard some stuff. There might be stuff going on in his personal life as well, which might be affecting his game. So I can give him some time to get his head right. We've got depth in midfield anyway. We've got players who can hopefully do a job in that role. I mean, we won against Newport, so. I'd like to see some other players in that role. Give Reedy some time to get his head right, and then come back fighting.
Well, it sort of goes back to that. What was it? Sort of. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, went out of my head. But yeah, if he was dropped because he hasn't been performing, that's only going to sort of. Well, you'd hope to think it would motivate him to sort of get back into the starting lineup.
I think it goes one of two ways, doesn't it? I think some players react to it by sort of sticking their head in the sand and sort of curling up and going quiet, whereas some players will see it as an incentive and a kick up the arse to really push themselves in training, get themselves in the gaffer's thoughts when they have the opportunity again to really play on and to push on and, impress and get back to the standard that we know that they can produce. I think Reed is one of the latter. I think he's got a real professional pride in what he does, and I think he will get back to what we know he's capable of. He's clearly a very talented footballer at this level. I think probably I'd say the best footballer in the division.
Well,
I think he's up there with Johnny Williams.
He's certainly up there. Look, we're talking about Reedy here. He'll be back.
Yeah, no, 100%. Juddy, what do you reckon for Saturday, prediction-wise? And also, can you give us a team and a formation?
My formation is not far off that one we just had there. I think I'd probably drop Reed at the moment. Like you said, there's got to be a reason. They're watching him in training. He's obviously not been as good as he was in games. So they're obviously monitoring that all the time, and we have got options this year, whereas last year we probably didn't. And like someone said, he'll probably come good at a time when we need him to come good, and we'll forget all about this little spell. But I think we'll be too strong for Colchester. I just hope we kind of have a go at them. They don't really keep clean sheets. It'd be nice to just sort of get a goal early on and sort of ease into it rather than struggling to break down sort of whatever they put in our way, 2 banks of whatever it is. But yeah, a nice early goal would be nice. But yeah, I fancy a comfortable one on Saturday.
I think we're due a 3 or 4-0. Like we're due a spanking.
Yeah, I know I said 3-1, but I would like to see a clean sheet.
It would just be nice. It'd be really nice to have 2 wins before we play those 3 tough games in a row. Take some of the pressure off, because then you can kind of afford to lose 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
But also, if we go into those games with some goals behind us and 6 points, then tails are up a little bit, aren't they? I mean, they're going to be tough games.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Yeah, no, I agree. Mike, what about you, mate? What do you reckon? Win on Saturday?
I've been keeping conspicuously quiet just because, I remember, I think it was like a couple of years ago, we played Colchester in the Cup, and then we scored a 90th minute goal, invaded the pitch, and then literally from kickoff they scored another goal, forced the second leg tie, and then won the second leg. I was like, oh my god.
That was Cheltenham, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry, was that Cheltenham? I was getting mixed up. But yeah, it was Colchester are our bogey team. Personally, I would be happy as long as we put in a good performance. I'm gonna tempt fate and go 1-0 loss. So hopefully the opposite happens.
Ooh. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Well, it would be a Swindon-y kind of thing to do to lose this game. But actually, this year, for all our faults, the games we've lost have been against decent sides.
Yeah.
So you'd like to think it'll be either a win or one of those games where you just struggle to score. So hopefully
hopefully we sort of just go all guns blazing sort of on the first whistle, get an early goal, and then get a second goal after that. Because the longer we're at 1-0, the more nervous I get. When it gets half time and we're only 1-0 up, I can't watch.
Well, I think on average we're going to go for a Swindon Town 7, Colchester 0 then.
Well, no, Joe, that's your prediction.
All right, okay. We'll go 6-0 on average then.
Yeah, that's better.
Well, I think that's our 90 minutes up.
We've got a little Reedy listening in.
Have we? Look at
We
that.
sure do.
Oh, Reedy, we love you, mate. Just have a bit of kiss ass at the end of the show there. That was yeah, well that's brought us to the end of our 90 minutes, lads. Thank you all for coming on. That was a great show. I think Frazer was amazing.
Lovely man.
Absolute legend. Before we go, just a reminder to get your drawings in for our Draw to Win competition. We've had quite a few drawings come in already. I mentioned last week that most of them, I'd say 90% of them are of Johnny Williams. That's still the case. We're getting about 50 Willow entries a week.
Well, he's quite easy to draw, and he just
It's kind of cheating though. You're leaving out the hair. It's cheating.
Well, you got to draw a big beard. So.
Well, that's true. We've had a few Jake Wakelins as well, actually.
Yeah.
Also had a Soul Bryn. So
I'm a soul man.
Oh,
oh, what a hero.
Yeah, keep them in, guys, because the draw will be made on the 1st of December for the prize to be given out for the 10th of December, which is their mascot prize for the home game against AFC Wimbledon. So keep them firing and keep an eye out for our live show on Saturday. We'll be at the County Ground again, live from the Legends, for the visit of Colchester, where Town will win 7-0.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. But yeah, thanks to the panel. Thank you to Frazer for coming on tonight. We hope you guys enjoyed. Just a reminder, the Tom Broadbent Lounge is an independent fans Twitter space. The views that are mentioned on here are not of those of Swindon Town Football Club or to Tom himself, unless he's on the show. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
Right.
See you later, y'all.